Hi there, Michael Eskin here with another ABC Transcription Tools demo. This is a demonstration of a new advanced feature I've just added to the tool to make it easier for those of you who are using MIDI gchord to control the backup on a per measure basis. I need to do this personally because I put together examples of arrangements for BC button accordion players where I want to show exactly where to hit the bass button and the chord button. If I just use the default backup pattern built into abcjs, it doesn't reflect what it is I'm trying to convey. So for example, I have this version of Sally Gardens here. And for the box players, I indicate the bass button with capital letters and the chord buttons with lowercase letters. And I mean for them to play exactly those buttons exactly at the times I indicate. But if they were to play this tune, they would get the abcjs default backup pattern for 4/4, which would sound something like this. And this continuous boom chick pattern is not what I want. I want to be able to control the backup so that it does exactly what it says in the notation. So to do that, I'm going to use MIDI gchord, and I'm going to have a different MIDI gchord pattern on every measure. To make that easier to do, I've added a new item on the Hamburger menu named Inject MIDI gchord templates. And what this will do is it will look at the meter for the tune. For example, this tune is in 4/4, and it will inject a MIDI gchord inline template on every measure of the tune. And you can see over on the left now that every measure now has one of these MIDI gchord inline annotations, and the pattern is the correct number of elements based on the meter. So for 4/4, there are 8 elements in the meter corresponding to the eighth notes. And by default, they're all set to rests, which is Z. In the user guide, there's full details about MIDI gchord, and you can also look it up in the ABC spec. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk through each of those MIDI gchord patterns, and I'm going to change it so it matches what I actually have in the notation. So that this video isn't too long, I'm only going to do the A part for the demonstration. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through each measure of the tune, and I'm going to change the gchord pattern to match exactly where I want the bass and the chords to play in the tune. So starting from the beginning, there's a pickup. I'm not going to have any chords on the pickup. The chords are going to start on this first note here on the G. And the pattern for the first measure in eighth notes is going to be bass, which is indicated by an F, then a rest, which is a Z, then chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. So again, it's going to be bass, rest, chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. Next measure is going to be rest, rest, chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. Next measure is going to be rest, rest, chord, rest, bass, rest, chord, rest. Next measure will be bass, rest, chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. Next measure starting on this G is going to be bass, rest, chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. This measure will be rest, rest, chord, rest, 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 chord, rest. Measure here will be rest, rest, chord, rest, bass, rest, chord, rest. And into the first ending, it's going to be bass, rest, chord, rest, bass, rest, chord, rest. And the second ending will be bass, rest, chord, rest, bass, rest, rest, rest. And now we have all the custom G chord patterns entered into the tune, and when we play it, we should get the bass and the chords exactly were indicated in the tune. As kind of a final step, I'm going to go ahead and add some instruments and swing to this tune so that it actually will play with the accordion sound. So I'm going to just replace all the top here. And now we'll go ahead and play this. So MIDI gchord is kind of an advanced ABC feature. I needed to be able to do this myself because I'm putting together a tunebook here that has 50 tunes in it, and I want the playback to be exactly what I show in the notation. I'm hoping that other people might find this feature useful as well.